It's become a popular slogan through the years. Pay it forward. You've heard of it. I remember a few years ago, an Atlanta area news organization that decided that they wanted to practice this idea of paying it forward. And so they were offering gas to total strangers. And the only thing they asked is that the recipients do something nice for someone else, to pay it forward. It's a great idea, certainly biblical. Do good for someone else because someone else did something good for you. And do good for someone else because, well, you would want someone else to do good for you. Here are a couple of scriptures, both of which I believe are pretty familiar, and they teach this principle. The first one is 1 John 4 and verse 11. Beloved, we ought to love one another just as God has loved us. And therefore, whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. That's Matthew 7 and verse 12. I'll never forget being a poor college student and dating my wife now, Emily, at the time. And we were down in Alabama visiting with her sister and brother-in-law. He was preaching for church there. And after the morning worship, we headed back home to our college home, Henderson, Tennessee. And we didn't have time to make it all the way back to Henderson for our evening service. And so we decided that we would stop somewhere along the way. We stopped in a small Mississippi town, and we joined the Christians there for their evening worship. And after services, we went to a local pizza place for dinner. Now, I don't know if someone overheard Emily and myself carefully discussing how much we could afford to spend on pizza that night, or maybe we just looked like we couldn't afford to pay for pizza that night. But you know what? A total stranger covered our meal. And I remember telling Emily that one of these days I'd like to do that for someone else, and thankfully we've been able to do that a few times, and makes you feel good to pay it forward. You never know what a random act of kindness can do to encourage others to do good for their fellow man. I recently read about a woman who pulled up to a toll booth and said, "I'm going to pay for myself and the 6 cars behind me." One driver, then another, heard these words from the toll collector: "Some lady ahead of you has paid for your fare." It was later discovered that that act of kindness by that lady resulted in someone writing a note that said, "Practice random acts of kindness, senseless acts of beauty." Say, why not practice a single act of kindness today and change the world one person at a time? I hope you have a great day. May God bless you.